Hey everyone, welcome to Mr. U's Reviews. Today I'm reviewing the latest James Bond film, No Time to Die. This film, of course, follows James Bond, who is retired at the start of this film, but when he gets another assignment from Felix Leiter, although reluctant at first, Bond decides to take it and he's on his next adventure. First of all, let's talk about the cast and characters of this film. And of course, Daniel Craig, once again, he's spectacular as James Bond because he always gets the class of the character right, like the coolness of him with his suits and everything, and the action of the character right, and also the emotional aspect of James Bond right. And especially since Casino Royale, which was Daniel Craig's first film as James Bond, he made him a little vulnerable, and that just makes the film a little more exciting, on the edge of your seat, because although he is strong physically and he can take on all these different villains, you never get the sense that it's gonna be for certain that he's gonna win every fight, but that makes you kind of root for him even more. And if he loses a fight here and there, he always gets back on his feet. So he just played this role so spectacularly, and it is said that this is his last film as James Bond, so he really ended it up on a high note, performance-wise. But then there are also other strong performances here, especially from Léa Seydoux, and Ana de Armas, who isn't really in the film too much, but whenever she was on screen, she really stole the show. And there's even other actors here. It's a really big star-studded cast with Lashana Lynch, Ralph Fiennes, Christoph Waltz, and Ben Whishaw, who plays Q, who is one of my favorite characters here because he's intelligent and he always helps James Bond throughout the film, especially here. And Rami Malek was also really he's been giving great performances these days, and he was great here as well, though I felt like his character was really underutilized and underdeveloped. He's the villain of this film, and you learn a little bit about him towards the beginning of the movie, and then a little bit in the second act, and it's the third act where he really shows up. But for Daniel Craig's last Bond film, I think it would have been better to really develop Malek's character even more, make him even more not only menacing, because he already was menacing, but not only menacing, but give him more of a backstory and learn. It would be better to learn more about why he's doing certain things. But it felt like he kind of showed up suddenly more in the third act, and I wish he had more of a presence throughout the whole film. But he still gave a good performance overall. I just wish his character was more utilized and more developed as James Bond, as the James Bond villain of this film. Next, let's talk about the directing and writing of this film. Now, Cary Joji Fukunaga directs this film quite well, especially the action scenes. There's a diversity in the action scenes. Some of them are, one take where you're kind of in James Bond's shoes, which I always love one take action scenes. But then there are other scenes where the camera just stays still and you see everything go down, whether it's a car flip over or an actual fight scene going on. And he also directed just all the set pieces of this film beautifully. It really looks beautiful on screen, which adds to the cinematography. So props to the cinematography here, because there's just all these different set pieces in different countries. It's a globe-trotting film, whether you go to Italy or whether you're in a forest. It's always visually pleasing to watch. And I especially like the sequence in the forest because you felt like you were there with James Bond, like you felt the atmosphere there. So it really just takes you into the film. It's very immersive. And with the writing of the movie, I really enjoyed the first act of this film. and I especially love the third act here. It's the second act that's, it's a mixed bag. I thought the start of the second act kind of slowed down a little too much, and I never mind, slow parts in movies, but I think this was a little too slow. It could have picked up the pace a little more, but maybe it was, kind of taking its time to make the film feel more epic, as this is a finale to Daniel Craig's James Bond. But towards the second half of the second act, the film picks up, and it's especially with the third act that it really makes bold choices, and does unexpected stuff, and there's some twists and turns here. You learn about James Bond and the people around him, so it was really exciting through the writing. But I wish parts of the second act could have picked up the pace a little more, overall. But just looking at the film as a whole, it was exciting and immersive through both the directing and the writing. Furthermore, the music in this film was another highlight here, and Hans Zimmer is the composer of the original score here. And at times with the action scenes and set pieces, it sounded a little too much like the Dark Knight score. And I'm not complaining about that, but it was very obvious it was a Hans Zimmer score. So it was kind of cool actually that he added his flavor to the musical score here. But where his score really shined was towards the more emotional scenes, especially in the third act where the stakes are really high. So I thought his score was just a strong point here. But not only was the original score a strong point here, but Billie Eilish's song "No Time to Die" really set the mood of the movie. Having that James Bond movie song, it's a staple here, because every movie has their own original song that plays over the opening credits, and I thought Eilish did a fantastic job with her song here. It really set the mood of the film. It's a little solemn, yet it's still an epic movie. So just the music overall really added a nice touch to this movie. All in all, No Time to Die was a bold Bond film, and it really ended Daniel Craig's run as James Bond on a good note. Daniel Craig is spectacular as always in this role, and all the other actors, they really have their moment to shine in this 2-hour, 43-minute film. So, even though the runtime is long, they really give time for, each of the main characters to just have their own moment to shine, which I really appreciated. And the directing of not only the action scenes, but of the set pieces, it was just fun to watch and immersive with the cinematography. Fukunaga did a great job here with that. And I really enjoyed the first and third acts of this film, and most of the second act. It was just an exciting movie that you're always intrigued by something going on. Even if it gets a little slow, you're always just with it on the ride. And all the music, whether it's from Hans Zimmer or Billie Eilish, it really sets the tone of multiple moments in this film. So, both of them did a great musical touch on this film. Just the only two things I would really improve is, certain aspects of the second act could have, it could have really picked up the pace a little bit, because it maybe got a little too slow, maybe to make the film feel more epic. It takes its time, maybe because of that. And also, I think our main Bond villain, played by Rami Malek, could have been developed more, and really he could have really had more of a screen presence than he really had in this film, because he's mostly in the third act and a little bit sprinkled throughout the film. But I think he should have been having a much grander presence throughout the whole movie. But all in all, I give No Time to Die a B+. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, don't forget your popcorn. Until next time, from Mr. U to you, stay tuned.